came in, the doors were locked. We were having a presentation by 3 different audit firms that were thinking, I'm not on speaker? Oh, everyone put on 3 different audit firms, so I apologize if you were locked out. But anyway, we're calling this meeting to order, July 7th, 6 o'clock p.m. And Carrie, can you take the roll, please?
Mayor Miller?
Here.
Vice Mayor Bliss?
Here.
Commissioner Carr?
Here.
Commissioner Collins?
Here.
Commissioner Benson?
Here.
Okay, and we have our invocation today by Reverend Melissa France from our Driving Christian Church. I just want to know, was this church coordinated, or you planned on doing that because it fits in?
100% coordinated.
Great, good. All right, thank you so much for being here.
Let's pray. Holy God, we acknowledge your presence here tonight, and we give thanks for the city of Daytona Beach Shores and all who serve it. As this commission considers presentations, reports, ordinances, and decisions that guide the life of our community, we ask that you would grant wisdom that is steady, judgment that is fair, and conversation that is respectful and clear. We lift up those who work in public safety, community services, and financial stewardship, asking your strength for them as they care for our residents day by day. We remember those affected by domestic violence and pray that the efforts shared tonight contribute to protection, healing, and hope. As the Commission addresses matters of development, annexation, city identity, and long-term planning, may each choice reflect the good of our neighbors and the future we seek together. Bless the work that is done this evening. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Reverend Melissa. Okay, and next we now have a presentation by, I think he looks familiar, a lot different, but by our very own Vice Chair, District 2 Representative, Councilman Matt Reinhardt, speaking on domestic violence database. Thank you, Matt, so much for being here this evening.
Madam Mayor, Commission, we appreciate the fact that you invited me here. To start it off, to give you a little history of why I'm doing this and the approach on this. Domestic violence is impacting everywhere, every city, every community, every state, every country for that matter. Just to give you a little perspective on it, Volusia County, with 610, 611,000 individuals, we are number 4 in the state for domestic violence. And that is not a number that we need to be proud of in any way. So one of the things that I wanted to do when I first got elected, of course, the Second Chance Initiative did a great, I don't want to mix the two, but another thing that was near and dear to my heart was domestic violence. Nobody thinks it's going to happen to you till it does. And on January 2017, I personally got the call from a family member, my daughter, who was assaulted by her ex-boyfriend. Took her own weapon against her. We could be having, unfortunately, thankfully, we're not having a different conversation right now, but I don't know if it's fortunate for him or not, but I was away at the time. I was a warden at the jail, so I was away at the time, so that may have been fortunate for him. But nonetheless, it impacts everybody. Somebody in your family, personally, somebody that you know, a friend, a colleague, a coworker, it impacts everybody. So I wanted to do something. So we heard a story related to this in Hamilton County, Tennessee, a young lady by the name of Savannah Puckett. She was a deputy, 22 years old. This is back in 2022. She had broken up with her boyfriend. He showed up at the house, killed her dog, and lit the house on fire. As a result, the state of Tennessee enacted a database, a registry, if you will, for the entire state of Tennessee for anybody that was convicted 2 or more times, conviction, 2 or more times of domestic violence. And I'll get to that 2 or more times in just a moment. So it passed. I would like to see something here in the state of Florida. We had already passed that threshold of what bills could be filed for the state for 2026. So I said, well, I don't want to sit on my hands. I want something that we can do here in Volusia County. If we are number 4, what measures can we take? Sure, I joined the Domestic Abuse Council. I sit on that board, proudly sit on that board, and we're trying to do things to educate the public better for that, to take care of those individuals that are affected and the survivors of domestic violence, but I wanted to take it one step further. So I approached our council with it, so on the 21st of this month, it will be brought back to our council for a decision to make on whether or not we could implement a similar database here in Volusia County for anybody that was convicted 2 or more times. And I said, I'll go back to the 2. There are a lot of people, since I approached this, the city of Daytona, the city or the town of Ponce Inlet, several areas that would like to see one-time conviction. We're going to have that conversation. We'll see. And there's a lot of things that could be said about that. But I had even some individuals that wanted it after arrest. I said, no, we don't want to violate their constitutional rights. So, but the conviction status is what we will argue. I provided, I'm not sure if you got it, some talking points. I won't go over each and every point. But some of that were interest, here in the United States alone, approximately 10 million people experience some sort of domestic violence annually here in the United States. 10 million, that's a lot. Almost 1 in 2 women and more than 4 in 10 men in the United States reported contact sexual violence, physical violence, and or stalking by an intimate partner at some point in their lifetime. Again, not numbers that we want to be proud of. So what can we do? Is it going to cure the problem? No. Is it going to help save somebody? Absolutely. So the database itself, the design behind it, it was already brought up on our council. Well, you know, we can contact the clerk's office and we can get that information. You're absolutely correct. But remember, 2-time conviction if we go that route. You are going to have to go through each and every charge, or a victim or a survivor will, or somebody in the family will want to be able to do their own research with that, and have to go through each and every charge to find out what the status of that charge was, what the charge was itself, and what the status of the conviction was. We're trying to create a database here in the county that, by the way, is free to taxpayers. We're just going to retrieve that information from the clerk's office, put it on our website, to where they can open up or provide their name and their address and the conviction status. We'll have the disclosure on there that if they want to obtain more information, you can refer to the clerk's office or to the arresting agency to try to obtain more information. We're just trying to be as transparent as humanly possible. So I said, you know, let's take it one step further. Not just domestic violence. We're in a community that has extremely large, or a county that has an extremely large elderly and retired. So it happened in our own family. I thought about this. I said, you know, if we could not afford to put my loved one or a loved one into a nursing facility to receive that care, oftentimes we have to have them remain at home and invite somebody into our homes to take care of those individuals. I'm not trying that we have some really great individuals that work in our CNA field and their nurses field, but remember, you pay for what you get. I'm going to put it bluntly. So wouldn't you like to do a little research and see if those individuals have the propensity of violence before they come into your home and take care of your loved one? So it's multifaceted, either for that or for the domestic violence part. So these are arguments that we're going to have. So what I'm here today and what I've asked other cities to do is to inquire to see if I can get a letter of support from your city in support of this. But I'll leave it up to you. If you have any questions, I'd be certainly happy to answer them. And I understand that Reverend France would like to speak a few words on this as well.
Certainly. Reverend France, would you like to come up before anyone?
I have never had domestic violence enter my world until it did. At least I didn't know it was there, but it was and had been for a long time. And I got a call just before midnight on January 18th of 2020, July 18th of 2020, from the sister of one of my dear friends who I had watched grow up and give birth to 2 little babies and held both of them, that she had been murdered by an ex-boyfriend with a sawed-off shotgun and shot in the face dead in front of her babies. I deal with crisis by trying to educate myself if I am not familiar with the topic at hand, and so that's when I became connected with the DAC right here in Daytona Beach. We are so blessed to have a shelter just 15 minutes down the road. And I have not sat on their board, but I do advocate in my congregation for domestic violence awareness, and I am fully supportive of what you're presenting tonight. I have already sent my email to your office, and I thank you all for what I know you're going to say yes to.
Thank you, Reverend. So right now, I don't know if you saw, there are several cities that have already signed letters of support. So Taylor, do we just need a consensus that we're going to approve this letter of support? Commissioner Mayor-elect Dubinsky?
Oh, absolutely.
Thank you. Commissioner Card?
100%.
Commissioner Economist?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Commissioner Politis?
Yes.
Thank you. All right. Matt, I think it's a wonderful, wonderful thing that you're doing. Do we need to vote on it, Sherry, or just a consensus? A wonderful, wonderful thing you're doing. I'm sorry that it touched you, but thank you for all the support you give for Volusia County for this
Thank you
issue.
very much.
And, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, we will get that letter out. If there's anything else that we can do, any other cities that we can try to urge to sign this so that you have 16 cities in Volusia County, that would be great.
Thank you so much.
Right. Thank you so much. Thanks for being here. So Sherry is the next step, then tomorrow we'll sign the letter and we'll pass it on.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, so Matt, I will sign that tomorrow, we'll get it on to you. Okay, thank you. Next, we're going to go on the approval of minutes. So the first one is the approval of the minutes from our city commission meeting of January 2nd, 2026. Is there any additions or corrections before we approve that?
I think it was June 2nd.
Oh, June 2nd, what did I say?
Start with a J.
You said January.
June 2nd, 2026, so we have the right. Do I hear a motion to approve those minutes?
Also move.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Any discussion on any of those minutes? Sherry, can you take a roll, please?
See the baby.
Is it me that didn't?
No, Vice Mayor?
I'm not getting anything that prompts me to vote. Unless I'm blind. Here, let me see here. I don't see anything, no.
One moment, please.
Sorry, Chris. You know, I've got limitations.
No. All right, so let's take a vote like we did the old-fashioned way.
Old school.
I've got 4 of them. But, sure. Mayor Miller?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Politis?
Yes.
Commissioner Card?
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas?
Yes.
Commissioner Dubinsky?
Yes.
Thank you, and it passed, oh, here we got it, 5-0. Did you vote?
Verbally, no, it's still not acknowledging on the computer. But
Yes.
Sherry's recording it from,
But it looks like it up here.
I.
Oh, you did that. Oh, all right. So it passed 5-0, thank you. Okay, next, we're going to go on to the city commission minutes of June 18th, 2026. Do we have a motion to accept those minutes?
I so move.
Thank you, second.
I'll second.
All right, is there any discussion on any additions, corrections? If not, Sherry, can you try the vote again, please? And I believe our vice mayor sounds like he,
Yes.
Technology can't beat them.
okay, and those passed 5-0. So next we are going to go on to our consent agenda. On that consent agenda this evening, we have 3 items. Is there any items that we need to pull for discussion before we approve? Okay, seeing none, may I have approval of the 3 consent agenda items, a motion?
I so move.
I'm sorry, Mike.
You know what, let the other side go. They've been
I think that's Commissioner Dubinsky. Thank you. And
second it.
Commissioner Card. Thank you. Any discussion on any of those items?
The other side.
If not, Sherry, can you take a vote on that, please? And again, that passed 5-0, thank you. So we're going to now go on to old business. So this is ordinance 2026-05, Land Development Code Amendment. And Attorney Taylor, would you read that for us, please?
This is ordinance number 2026-05, an ordinance of the City of Daytona Beach Shores, Florida relating to additional signage allowed for businesses, amending the municipal code of 6G Land Development Code by amending Section 2-5 entitled Signs and Advertising Definitions by creating a definition for A-frame signs, amending Section 6-8 entitled Permitted Signs, amending Section 6-9 entitled District Regulations, providing for legislative findings and intent, providing for enforcement and penalties, providing for a savings provision, providing for non-codification, providing for conflicting ordinances, providing for severability, providing for an effective date, and providing for a termination date.
Thank you, Attorney. And City Planner, what do you have for us this evening?
Thank you, Madam Mayor, Mayor-elect, Vice Mayor, and City Commissioners. Gwen Herstein, City Planner. This is the second reading for ordinance number 2026-05, which provides a definition for A-frame signs, allows them under permits at Daytona Beach Shores businesses in both general commercial and mixed-use zoning districts, and provides for a sunset clause to allow as much flexibility as possible when we overhaul our city's sign code, which is actually currently underway. Here are examples of allowable A-frame signs. Some are shown here: wood, metal, or similar materials, professionally painted, printed, or chalkboard marker type surfaces. Staff reviews were completed, all were approved, and this ordinance was approved by the Planning and Zoning Board, by this commission at first reading, and staff is likewise recommending approval.
Thank you. And so Gwen, this is no restrictions, this is 7 days a week, what, during open hours only?
You're correct, Madam Mayor, during open hours, 7 days a week if the business is open. One permit, which takes care of the sign itself, that it meets the requirements, and that locations have been, safe locations have been communicated with the property owner so they know where they can put it. And it's not just one location, they may have areas so that they can move it around and it stays a little bit fresh, not just that same location every week. So one sign until such a time as they choose to replace the sign with a different one, they would permit at that time, but that could be 2 years later. There is also the possibility of not being safe with the sign, leaving it out overnight repeatedly, and they would get warnings. And so their permit after a number of those, a few of those could be revoked, and they'd have to get a new one.
Great, thank you. Thank you again for the staff and for our commission up here being so sensitive and showing people when they come up with a concern, we do address that, we do talk about it, so thank you. So this is a second reading on this ordinance. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to speak on this? Okay, seeing none, do we have any discussion? And yes,
I do. Is that okay?
sorry, that's fine, thank you.
I know this is primarily to promote somebody's business, but I did see something in here where it said you cannot use it as a, to primarily look for like a help wanted sign. So it seems like it's contemplated that somebody could do that at some point. And forgive me if I missed it, but I did not see anything about, say, political advertisement, so that would not be permitted too, correct, either?
This is to promote the business
Right.
and/or primarily basically means if you chose to use 49% of the sign to say inquire inside, position available, something like that, you
Right.
could, but it's
Fine.
primarily, meaning at least 51% of it should be used for promoting the business. However, we don't want to tread on constitutional rights in any way.
Okay. So as far as, now what about political advertisement? So would that be absolutely prohibited from this?
These are commercial signs. If somebody chose to use their commercial signage, which is at a premium and is limited in that way, I don't believe that we would be enforcing that they couldn't. However, we would certainly be discussing that with our law firm and making sure that we were not treading on people's constitutional rights at the same time that we were following our ordinances.
Is that language, and I did read it, but is that language in there? And if not, should we put that in there? Include that language about no political advertisements?
Yeah.
Free speech, I think.
Well-
City Manager, do you have something that you want to add to that? You look like you were.
Well, I'll defer to the city attorney, but I believe that that would be a constitutional violation to
but commercials-
restrict specific speech.
Right.
And this will be part of the comprehensive overhaul that we're going to be doing later this year, with all of our sign ordinances. We've already spoken with those law firm, and they're beginning the review now.
But now, I think there's an exception with commercial speech, because not all speech is protected, so you can't yell obscenities in certain venues, that type of thing. But commercial speech is treated differently as well, so you can limit commercial speech more than you can something else. So, I think, again, if this is to promote businesses, I think we need to look for a way to at least speak to our legal counsel to see if we can get something in there to prohibit political speech or political advertisements.
Jenny, do you have anything to weigh in on that?
Sure, so, that is correct. You cannot include any type of language that would blanketly prohibit political speech. As you mentioned, City Manager, this is supposed to be read in conjunction with the entire comprehensive sign ordinance, which is in the process of being overhauled. And I do believe that there is language elsewhere within the code that addresses how political speech for signage is meant to be regulated. But in this particular case, even with the parameters of commercial speech, it would not be appropriate to have a statement that said no political speech is anticipated. However, that would be a situation, I would imagine, where if that did come up in terms of commercial use, that would be a case-by-case enforcement basis. In terms of how it was appropriate within the context of the rest of the code.
So to the city manager's point and Commissioner Kanamos, when we do go to the overall of the signage, maybe that's something we want to look at. So
Absolutely.
right now, I'll probably leave this A-frame alone, but I know we're going to do an extensive overhaul, correct, of political signs. So will you make sure that we look at his point and pass that on? Okay, great, thank you. Any other comments? Okay, if not, can I hear a motion to accept ordinance 2026-05?
I'll so move.
Thank you. Second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion? If not, Sherry, can you take a roll for us, please? Okay, and that passed 5-0. We're now going to go on to new business. We now have ordinance 2026-06, a voluntary annexation at 3108 Liberty Street. Can you read that for us, Attorney Simons?
Yes, Mayor. Ordinance number 2026-06, an ordinance of the City of Daytona Beach Shores, Volusia County, Florida, relating to voluntary annexation of real property located at 3108 Liberty Street, parcel identification number 5334-0208-0040, together with associated rights in accordance with section 171.044 Florida statutes, providing for legislative and administrative findings, redefining the boundaries of the city, providing for legal effect and implementing administrative actions, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, providing for non-codification, and setting an effective date.
Thank you. City Planner?
Thank you again, Madam Mayor, Mayor-elect, Vice Mayor, and City Commissioners. This ordinance is to allow a voluntary annexation. If approved, it will annex 3108 Liberty Street from Volusia County into Daytona Beach Shores. The property owners, Carrie and Chris Miller, are here with us this evening, and they've brought a baby with them making lovely sounds. The property is 0.531 acres. It will be annexed in as a single-family residence, which was its zoning in Volusia County. This property has 100 feet of linear footage along both Liberty Street and Brookfair Crescent. It's a through property, and both of those are parallel to South Atlantic, as you can see in the location map. Here's an aerial view of the property, which is a 2-minute drive from here, although actually Google Maps suggested that I walk it instead. Here's a street view of the existing home. Staff analysis and exhibits have been submitted for the record. The requirements of Florida statute 171.044 having been met, staff recommends approval at this first reading of ordinance 2025-06. 2026-06.
Thank you. This is a first reading. Is there anyone in the audience that has any comments? Okay, If not, so are these the applicants here? Congratulations, we're so happy to have, well, once we take the vote, but thank you for your interest in our city and your beautiful daughter. So any discussion on this or any questions for our city planner? If not, do you happen to know, will they be residing there, or will this be a short-term rental?
From what I understand, they do plan to reside there, and I've had a somewhat long relationship with Ms. Miller in that they have been looking for just the right home in Daytona Beach Shores for some time now, and so this was an opportunity for them to do it annex. And
Wonderful, thank you for sharing. If there's no discussion, do I hear a motion to accept ordinance 2026-06?
I so move.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Okay, if there's no further discussion, a very cute home, it's darling. I hope you're very happy there. Sherry, can you take a roll, please? And this is 5-0. Thank you. Congratulations. This is our first reading, but I hope you come back for the second as well. Next, we're going to go on to ordinance 2026-09. This is proposing an amendment to the City of Daytona Beach Shores Charter to change the name of the city to the Shores. So can you read that for us, Attorney Simmons?
Yeah, did we skip 2026-08?
We got 6, and we're 7.
No, 08. Oh, it was tabbed.
Are we okay?
There is, sorry.
Sherry, did I skip something?
It might not have been on the.
No, that's resolution. This is the ordinance. I can see, yeah, that's 06.
Sorry about that.
That's fine.
Ordinance 2026-09, ordinance of the City of Daytona Beach Shores, Florida, proposing an amendment to the City of Daytona Beach Shores City Charter to change the name of the city to the Shores, calling a citywide referendum election of the proposed charter amendment, providing the ballot title and ballot summary for the referendum, providing for notice and conduct of the referendum election, providing for legislative and administrative findings, providing for implementing administrative actions, providing for savings, providing for codification and correction of scrivener's errors, providing for conflicts, severability, and an effective date.
Thank you. Maddie, you have a presentation for us?
I do.
Thank you.
Good evening. Tonight's presentation will provide a summary of the community outreach conducted by staff, as well as the results of the public survey that we did, an estimated implementation cost, and the process required should the commission wish to move forward. I do just want to note that this evening's discussion is not actually about changing the name tonight. It's about if commission would like to bring forth the charter amendment on the ballot in November. So that's the decision that is up. So obviously we're Daytona Beach Shores, but over the years staff has had an influx of residents and local businesses coming in and asking, when can we be the Shores? So what we want you to know is this wasn't a city initiative, this was a community-based initiative. Sorry, go back for a minute. So it wasn't a city initiative, it was community-based. The city just simply facilitated the survey. Moving in, before we go any further, I want you to see a timeline of where we're at and where we've been. So the community initiative sparked the community survey that the city did run, and then the staff did a staffed cost analysis, and currently we're at the first reading at the commission meeting. Should this be adopted this evening, it would then go in for a second reading and then for the November ballot. So we're kind of halfway through. Public outreach efforts, just to put in perspective what we have done already. We proposed the survey, we put it on Facebook, we put it on Instagram, we put a copy in every single utility bill that goes out to all of our utility customers. Our finance department walked and hit all of the condos and passed out flyers. I've emailed the CAM groups. We announced it at a coffee with the mayor, the commission meetings, and there were copies of the survey in all of our public-facing lobbies for about 30 days. And just the Facebook reach alone was about 4,700 people as we saw it. Survey results. I tried to make this as digestible as possible. We sent the survey out for 30 days. We had a total of 545 submissions. Of those 545 submissions, 515 were confirmed municipal residents. So we took the address they provided, cross-referenced it into the property appraiser, and they are Daytona Beach Shores residents. That's about 94.5% of everyone that participated were our residents, which is extremely impressive. Of that, we had about 1/3 oppose and 2/3 approve, so about 66% did vote yes, they would like to change the name to the Shores. That's the large blue portion there.
Can I ask you right now too, so we're talking a lot about residents, so, we're gonna think down the road that our residents, if we decide to proceed with this, our residents will be the ones voting. Did we get any feedback from someone that might own a business in Daytona Beach Shores and not a resident, so in fact would not be able to vote yay or nay on this? Did any of that?
Yes, so we got a couple of responses back. Some of the hotels actually reached out via email. I don't believe we've heard from any other business type other than the hoteliers, and it was definitely split 50-50. I had about 4 reach out, and they said this is the best thing ever. We are so excited. Let's push it forward. And then I had a few reach out, and they were concerned about losing the Daytona Beach portion. So obviously, a lot of visitors come in to Daytona Beach, and the Shores will pick up those visitors as well in their hotels and their businesses. The concern is that we could lose that.
Okay.
So that was about split.
Thank you.
So moving into projected costs, we did do a staff cost analysis. We also reached out and checked on any other costs that may be incurred by our residents. So starting out, the resident cost is completely free to change your driver's license or your ID card state issued through the tax collector's office. They would be required to pay the $6.25 processing fee to the tax collector's office. So that's the only cost that our residents will need to push out in order to make this happen. As far as staff goes, our cost is going to be a little bit higher. We are looking at uniforms, our banners, our Life is Better Here banners, any monument signage, any building signage, vehicle lettering, decals, all of that. That estimated cost ranges anywhere between $244,000 to $277,000. Something to mention, though, is that this is not an upfront cost. This would be installed in different segments. So, for instance, if we hire a new employee, instead of them purchasing a shirt that says City of Daytona Beach Shores, they would then purchase the Shores. When our vehicles are up for replacement on their 15 or however many years, we would just simply, instead of putting the decal on the side that says City of Daytona Beach Shores, it would be the Shores. So it's going to be stagnant. It's going to be not all at once.
So, excuse me, Maddie. So the main cost for this, the monument signage would be expensive. The pole banners, you have to change. That wouldn't change. But everything else, what you're talking about, uniforms, patches, all that, that's just, we do that anyways. I mean, people get new uniforms, you get new shirts, et cetera, et cetera. Okay.
Absolutely. So yes, each employee, I believe, is allowed 3 uniform shirts. So when I came in, I was allowed to purchase 3. I've held off on doing this until we have a decision one way or the other, saving the taxpayer dollar. But yeah, so everyone, we have this stuff budgeted out in advance. In total, though, $244,000 is what we expect to have spent at the end of the day doing all of this.
Can you tell me what the process is with the U.S. Post Office? Are they going to recognize the Shores? Do you know how there are some times when you're ordering something online and there's a drop-down menu and it's Daytona Beach Shores? How is all of that taken care of, do you know?
So our zip code wouldn't be changing. So our address would still be 2990 South Atlantic Avenue. We would put in the Shores, but there are some websites that pre-populate and they may have it still Daytona Beach Shores based on the zip code. To my understanding, it will still be recognized Daytona Beach Shores and the Shores when it comes to U.S. Postal. So if you put the Shores, it's coming here. If you put Daytona Beach Shores, it's still coming here.
Maddie, how about voter registration, vehicle registrations, concealed carry permits, any state-issued ID? I don't know if you had any communication with anybody about those issues.
So we did reach out to the tax collector, Will Roberts. He appointed or just mentioned that the driver's license or state-issued ID would need to be updated. That processing fee is $625. As far as the others, I don't believe, again, because Daytona Beach Shores will still exist in the 32118 zip code, I don't believe there would be an issue, but to confirm one way or another would probably stop. I don't have that information yet.
If you could check on that.
Absolutely. So bringing us back to the timeline, again, we're about halfway through. If we do accept at first reading this evening, then it will come back to you once more. I can bring you additional answers, and if it's approved at second reading, it would then go on the November ballot as a charter amendment, and the voters would be the ones who actually would vote yes or no on this. And that is your discussion point. I'm here if you have any further questions, but
So first of all, this is a first reading, so I see we don't have a lot of residents here today or businesses, but, and Sherry, no speakers on this, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, but I always open it up because I want to hear what you have to say. Is there anyone in the audience that has any comment on this they'd like to come forward? If you just come forward, if you just want to come forward with your name and address.
She said public safety.
I'm sorry? Okay.
Ann Harrington.
Yes.
Ms. Harrington did put in a form, but she said public safety is like that on all your comments.
I'll just put a comment.
Okay, all right, that's fine.
So I'll say one word, Google search. That's it. If you don't have that Daytona Beach Shores in the Google search as a business, you lose that.
Great, thank you. Maddie, is that something you could add to your list, please? Thank you. Ms. Goodrich? Please introduce yourself.
Krista Goodrich. I own the Pineapple Shores and also several residential homes in the city, hopefully the shores. And I do operate in tourism, and I would disagree actually, because it's all geo-traced when you do Google searches. It'll still populate for locations in the shores just like it does in Ormond Beach. So right now when people go to book in Daytona Beach proper, it actually populates with all the hotels and vacation rentals all around the area. I think this will enhance the shores because the shores is different. It is its own city, and it does live in the shadow right now of Daytona Beach. So I think by creating the name The Shores, it actually elevates it, and the people that want to go to the events that happen in Daytona Beach can still do that, but they can have an elevated tourism experience here in the shores where we're a little more forward-thinking and business-friendly. So I'm hoping for change.
Thank you so much. Anyone else? Ms. Cook, I know you're itching.
I'm not coming up.
Okay, all right, okay. Maddie, anything else that you want to add? Okay, all right, so any other discussion from our dais?
Actually, the only thing I want to say is we were all over every network and news media, and apparently the citizens are depending on us to do what the right thing is. So we're not here to argue about it.
Commissioner Cart?
Yeah, I do. I did a very unscientific approach to it, but I talked to people and said, would you like it to be changed? And it was overwhelming. Most of them said, yes, we would like it to be changed. Then I said, it cost between $250,000 to maybe $500,000 doing fire trucks, doing cars and all that, and it changed the landscape immediately. Overwhelming on those people when they found out that it was going to cost that. They thought that it was just going to blink it and it's going to change the name. So I'm kind of torn with this decision on my side. I'll figure it out when it's time to vote, but that's all I have to say.
So Maddie, you talked to us about a transition period. So I'm assuming that, say if it's $250,000, is that, so we wouldn't be spending that all at one time. So it would be X amount for the monuments and maybe 6 months or a year later. Do we have any X amount of time that this has to be completed by?
not that we're aware of, no. Once we change it, the voters vote and we change it, we start the process, we can take however long we'd like, but it would be phased in. We wouldn't do it all at once, even if we had $250,000, we wouldn't do it all at once. And like I said previously, it is, when we replace the vehicles, we're gonna change the logo. We're not gonna go and buy 10 new vehicles, and that's not, part of the cost. So it would be phased in slowly. If there's any more questions about that.
So I'm just thinking, so when you say a new vehicle, if we bought a new vehicle, we either had to put City of Daytona Beach Shores on the side, or we had to put the shores on the side, so that would really be a non-event?
Correct. So we did just get 2 new K-9 vehicles for public safety. The stickers, essentially. We would just peel off Daytona Beach and we would put the on the side. So that's, the sticker will still cost money, but it is much cheaper than going out and purchasing a whole new vehicle that has a whole new ensemble. Same with, think our fire truck, that Daytona Beach Shores sticker on the side, that would be, it's a decal. It would be taken off and put back, but we're not purchasing a new fire truck to replace that. And that would be it would be phased in over a little while. Same with all of our non-emergency public works trucks. We take the decal off and replace it with time.
Okay, all right, great. Any other comments?
I
Vice
have.
Mayor? Okay.
You know, we're not making the decision.
No,
We're inviting the opportunity for the citizens to make a decision as to what they want to name their city. We're just the conduit. We've got feedback from them that they'd like to at least entertain the idea of the change, and we're making a decision to put it on the ballot. Ultimately, the ballot's going to, how they vote is going to determine yay or nay. So there's not a lot of pressure on us, but we're responding to their request, and that's what we're doing. And, I think it's the right thing to do.
And I think that's a very, very important that we're saying, and I think whenever we have the opportunity, these are the residents of Daytona Beach Shores or the Shores, this is their decision. We want to be able to say to them, we're going to put it on there so that you have the decision. So, I'm hoping everyone's understanding that. To the Vice Mayor's point, we're not voting on it, we're just saying we're going to give you the opportunity to vote on it because you're so city. Okay. Any other discussion? If not, do I hear a motion to accept ordinance 2026-09?
So move.
I'll second.
Thank you. With no further discussion, Sherry, can you take a roll, please? And that passed 5-0. We don't have a lot of people in the audience today, but I'm hoping for the people that are listening online, the ones that are hearing more and more about this, we will have a second reading on this on July 28th. Is that correct, Sherry?
Yes, ma'am.
July 28th. So please come. We want to hear from you. But again, we are allowing you the opportunity to make the decision. Whatever happens on the ballot will be what goes forward. Okay, so next we're going to go approval to award RFP 2026-0403, the Public Safety HVAC Replacement Project.
This is labeled Resolution 2026-08, a resolution of the City of Daytona Beach Shores, Volusia County, Florida, amending the general fund fiscal year 2025-2026 budget for the increase in construction costs from budget for RFP-2026-4-03 bid by Air Mechanical and Service Corps, AMSCO of $296,754, providing for appropriations, providing an effective date.
Thank you. And Sherry, what is the correct number? What is this 2026-0403?
That was the bid number for the HVAC system.
Okay, all right, okay. Director?
Madam Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, Lord Irwin, Finance Director. This is actually twofold. The first part that you need to vote on is the actual HVAC vendor. But what happened was in May of 2025, an HVAC study of the public safety building was conducted due to system failures, not heating and cooling properly. And the system was actually installed in 2005 and it has reached its useful life. So in that study, it was determined to have two phases. One, high priority issues, and two, low priority issues. So in the fiscal year 25-26 capital improvement budget, the budget included $800,000 for the phase one based on cost estimates included in that study. Well, as we know, time has gone by and what the cost of things have done in the last year and a half. And so what happened is we came to the construction phase and an RFP with 2026-04-03 was solicited for bids and for the HVAC replacement. staff has actually received the bids and has recommended the lowest bid, which is Air Mechanical and Service Corp, AMSCO, for $967,000 for approval. So the first thing we need to do is we're looking for your approval for that contract. If you approve that contract, then we need a budget amendment, resolution 2026-08. The difference in the cost between engineering and construction and the budget, what we had budgeted for originally. So the $800,000 is what we budgeted. The engineering and construction actual costs are $1,096,754. So that leaves a budget amendment, if the contract is approved, of $296,754.
So I'll go over that one more time. So first you're asking us to approve that, and then is that item D that is conjunction, or is item D this resolution 2026-09? Is that something different?
It's something different.
Okay.
This is all in.
Okay. So you're
The
asking?
first thing you're doing is approving the contract, the AMSCO contract for the HVAC system, to be the contractor for that.
Again, this is a first reading on this. Is there anyone in the audience that has any comment before we go on to the commission? Seeing.
No, this has one reading. The contract doesn't have a reading at all.
Okay, all right. So are we just, any discussion before we?
I do have a question.
Okay, yes.
Lori, or Director Irwin, I know the references from AMSCO cited are basically from Orlando. This is in a different environment. Do they have any experience doing this kind of work on the coast?
I am going to refer that question to Director Cruz.
Thank you.
Thank you for the question. Stuart Cruz, Community Service Director. To answer the question, yes. And so Public Safety Director Swanson actually reached out to a very similar reference. This one was in Orlando, not in the coast, but very close by, and the review was very, very positive.
Now, I mean, I know nothing about this kind of work or any type of engineering on the coast versus inland, but I did grow up in Orlando, so there's a big difference when we park our vehicle here on the beach, or even in the garage, you get salt residue all over it, even when it's protected. Orlando, that never happens. So, but my question is, have they done any work on the coast? And if, and again, maybe it wouldn't make any difference to an HVAC system, I don't know. But that's what I was looking for. Have they actually done any work on a coastal environment?
Yes, I don't remember the name of the actual community at this point, just because I don't have the actual package in front of me, but I believe they did, yes.
And to your point, Commissioner, so, when we came here, we had I think a 5 or 6 year old residential that looked rusted and 25 years old, and they explained to us that we needed a coastal version. So I think he's asking you, do we have something that's...
Correct. And so just to be clear, it's not the contractor that has designed the system and is making recommendations on the actual products that are contained within the system itself. It's the actual engineer. The engineer has already done the design and made the recommendations, and that's how the contractor was able to provide the bid. So the contractor is just going to be purchasing the equipment and essentially installing it.
So whatever is going to be installed is recommended for coastal environment.
Sales O'Brien, they're very experienced. They're actually based, I believe, in Melbourne as well. And so they have a lot of coastal experience, if you want to call it that.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Isn't there, on a side note, isn't there something that a study was done, and maybe from Jacksonville to Melbourne or something, we have the highest concentration of salt in the air? That's the heart.
I've never seen a study, but I've heard that several times, that we do have a very concentrated amount of salt spray, salt in the air in Volusia County.
Madam Mayor, you're correct about that. It was the coastal engineer that told us about that, and that's why companies do their paint testing and other testing locally, because we have the highest concentration.
I thought I heard it somewhere.
Salty.
Okay, so now we are asking for approval on the contract. Now, is the contract number 2026-0403? We're asking for approval on the contract.
Yes.
Okay, Sherry, can you take the vote, please?
We need a motion. Also move.
Okay.
I'll second.
Thank you. and that passed 5-0. Now we're going to go on to the budget amendment. You also need, all right, do I hear a motion to accept the budget amendment?
Also move.
Second?
I'll second.
Sure, could you put that? Okay, and that passed 5-0. So again, understanding this is passing, that we approve the contract and the budget amendment, Director, so we will not be going over this on the 28th. Is that correct? Thank you. Okay, next, we're going to go on to Resolution 2026-09. Attorney Simons, can you read that for us, please?
Yes. Resolution 2026-09, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Daytona Beach Shores, Florida, replacing Resolution 2023-04 fund balance policy, making updates to the minimum balance requirements, providing for severability, providing for conflicts, providing for implementing actions, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, Lori Jones, Finance Director. This is just a minor change to our current fund balance policy. Your fund balance policy, what it is it's telling us how much money to keep in our reserves for unforeseen events, on anticipated expenditures, future capital improvements. That's why we have a fund balance policy to tell us, how much we should have there. Well, our current policy, which came from Resolution 2023-04, actually for the enterprise fund, which is our sewer fund, states that we need a balance. If the balance falls to a balance less than 50% of the current year's budgeted revenues. Where the problem that comes in with that currently is that those budgeted revenues, say in the current budget, are made up of your service fees for your service, for your sewer, interest, and there's grants, and there could be state loans in there, which can add up to, say, $24 million. So if we need to have no less than 50%, that's $12 million in just reserves that you have to have. So as we have these sewer projects, that number in revenue increases, and we don't actually have those. So right now, the current policy doesn't match with the city's needs. So what I would like to propose is that we change that to that if the balance falls to a balance less than 50% of the prior year's actual revenues from charges for services. So you're looking at like, it was $4.4 million. So now you're looking at revenue, that the reserves have to be $2.2 million or more.
How long have this been an issue in the past, or it's just something you're being proactive?
It's right now because of the current sewer projects that we have. We have like $30 million worth of sewer projects. So when we look at that in a budgeting process, we need 50% of that in reserves.
Okay, great, thank you.
Which we need our reserves for the projects.
Any other discussion or any questions? All right, do I hear a motion to accept Resolution 2026-09?
Also move.
Thank you. Second?
I'll second.
Thank you. No further discussion. Sherry, can you take a roll, please? Okay, and that passed 5-0. The next item is the appointment of the voting delegate for the Florida League of Cities Annual Conference. I'm going to ask if we can put that on hold right now till we see who is actually attending the conference, if there's no problem. So Attorney, do we just need a consensus to, all right. Commissioner Dubinsky, is it all right if we postpone that vote?
Sure. I'm sorry, I thought you were talking to Taylor.
Oh, I should have said it out loud, so it's on the record. Yes, yes, just get a consensus.
Yes.
Yes.
Sure, you can pull it. Thank you. Thank you. All right, we will postpone that. Now we're going to go on to consideration to cancel the regular meeting on August 4th. City Manager, I think you were the one that put this on there. Can you help us with this
I
one?
did. Madam Mayor, as you're aware, we have a meeting on July 28th, I believe it is, which is just 1 week prior to this. Staff does not anticipate any pressing business in that ensuing week, so it is our recommendation that, should the commission wish, we go ahead and cancel the meeting for the 4th.
And that would also be in case something did come up, we would reserve the right to schedule a meeting. Is that correct?
Certainly.
Okay, great. Okay, again, just a consensus, Attorney? Commissioner Jablonski?
Fine with me.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
All right,
sure.
thank you, and I approve that as well. Okay. All right, now we are going to go on to our city attorney comments. Do you have anything for us?
I do not.
All right, thank you. City manager?
I'm happy to report that the city's been awarded $375,000 in state funding to support the purchase of a new mobile stormwater infrastructure unit. The city's grateful to Senator Tom Wright and Representative Chase Tremont for sponsoring this important appropriation. I know that the mayor met in person with all of our area elected officials to discuss this important addition to the state's budget. And I know sometimes she met with them multiple times and is very assertive in those meetings. So, unlike a lot of the other local projects, ours made it past the governor's veto pen, so we were very grateful for that. With a matching investment from the city, this is going to create a $750,000 investment that'll be critical to our stormwater equipment, that'll help us improve drainage, reduce localized flooding, and strengthen our resiliency and ability to prepare for severe weather. What the machine is actually called is a VACCon, and it'll allow our crews to quickly remove debris, sand, and other blockages from underground stormwater infrastructure before, during, and after storms. The upside to that is it can also be used on our sewer system, so this is going to be a great addition to the city. Bring an update that we're still awaiting the governor's decision on whether we qualify as an opportunity zone. You may remember I mentioned that last month. The competition has gotten a lot heavier because due to the income levels of our residents, we do not qualify as a fiscally restrained area. Great for our residents, not great for our chances to get designated as an opportunity zone, because the governor can only designate 12 of those in the entire state non-conforming. So if anybody has any pull with the governor, we would appreciate that you reach out to him or his office and see if you can help us get that designation. And then, did you want to talk about the ULI study coming up this week, or do you want me to mention it?
You can mention it, but I want you to step back too, to know that on this opportunity zone, we again did use our relationships, you know, to try. We had letters written, Nancy Maddox had letters written. We reached out to a lot of different people. So I just want you to know that, you know, we do have very good relationships with our legislators and with the governor's office, and we use those whenever we can.
Yeah, not only legislators, but we also reached out to business partners, and we leveraged everything that we could to try and get this. So if unfortunately we don't get it, it won't be for a lack of trying. So as I mentioned, the ULI study will take place next week. We're excited about this. This is a big piece of our economic development plan. They'll be bringing in subject matter experts from around the country to take a look at what we currently have in place and make suggestions on what we can do to improve, to encourage the type of development that Daytona Beach Shores wants to see. You know, some of the comments that we've been hearing lately is that people see us as an upscale, sophisticated city, and we want to bring development that's going to further that on. The committee will be meeting with stakeholders, and then, as you're aware, there'll be a special presentation to this commission July 17th at 1:30 next Friday. So we're excited to hear what their recommendations are. That's all I have.
Okay. I'll go first with commission comments that I want everyone to know there's no coffee with the mayor for the month of July and August. We've done that for several different years. A lot of our snowbirds are gone. A lot of our residents leave too. So no coffee with the mayor. We will resume those again in September, and we'll let you know that date. On Friday, July 10th, which is coming Friday, it's going to be Ponce Inlet and Daytona Beach Shores Night with the Daytona Tortugas. Tickets are discounted for anyone that would like to come to $9 per person, and the discount is extended to anyone that lives in Daytona Beach Shores or Ponce Inlet. So bring everyone out, tell everyone you know. The game starts at 6:30 and will be at the Jackie Robinson Ballpark. On Tuesday, July 21st, the Brown will be back to another museum in motion. This presentation will be called The Lost Roadside Attraction of Florida and will begin at 2:00 p.m. upstairs in our community center. I haven't had the opportunity to attend these yet, but I heard they're just wonderful and very well received. We're going on to Friday, July 24th. It'll be our food truck night at McElroy Park. Food and 2 cash bars will be served from 4:30 to 8 o'clock. We'll have live music by Daniel Saxman Fuqua. If you've never heard him before, he is fantastic. Please come out, and it will be under the Shores Pavilion from 5 to 8:30 that Daniel will be there. Our city manager has already talked about that ULI. Again, that's July 17th at 1:30. And then our next meeting will be Tuesday, July 28th at noon. We'll have a budget workshop followed by a city commission special meeting. Please plan to join us. Commissioner Dubinsky, what do you have for us?
I just have one question to the city manager. That ULI meeting I've got down for 11 a.m. Did I get it wrong?
I believe it's 1:30. I have.
Commissioner, that's your private meeting.
Oh, okay.
Sure, that's part of the stakeholder meeting, so we'll have an individual one, and then we'll have the city meeting.
Perfect. I don't have any other comments.
Okay. Commissioner Card?
Yes, Daytona Beach Shores, while we're still that, we're gonna like to welcome J&A Subs at the 2132 South Atlantic. It was the former Riley's Coney House. They're serving basically the same thing. They've got some seafood on it. I guess that's the difference on it. Also, second business that recently opened is Beverage Sip Shop, which is just south of Dunlawton. Am I correct on that? Yeah, and this is a non-alcoholic beverages. So they're open. Temporary hours right now are from 10 to 6 daily. But unfortunately, the Palma House restaurant has closed permanently, and we wish them all of the best. That's it.
Do we happen to know why? I mean, just lack of business or?
That's obvious. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
I had thought when we had gone by several different times I hadn't seen, and that, that's a shame. So, and that's just one of the things, I'll get on my bandwagon again. We're gonna be getting something, about SoNapa here. It is just so important. Our staff has done whatever they can to recruit restaurants here. We need to support them when they come here, or no one else is going to want to come. This is a perfect example of what happened. So again, SoNapa is not somewhere you're going to be eating every night. I say that, but whenever you are going to go out to eat, please support them along with the Millie's and the different restaurants we have here. It's pretty hard to be in the restaurant business. So we saw that Riley's moved out. So thank you for that update, and I appreciate that. Commissioner Economist?
Actually, just a question for Commissioner Card. Is that the J&L, is it J&L Sub Shop?
Yes.
Is that actually open right now, or is it coming soon?
It's open right now.
Okay.
Yes. I went by it, and it looked like there was people in there.
Good.
So let's hope that they're
Yeah,
doing well.
let's go check them out.
Yeah,
Thank you.
absolutely.
All right. Vice Mayor?
Well, you'd be proud of me, Madam Mayor. I went to the Luna's restaurant for breakfast. I took my friend, and then we went next door and ordered and took to a friend of mine a whole bunch of Greek pastries. So, we try and do as much as we can to our local restaurants and what other businesses. But, it's a big deal to get So Napa here, so I'm happy for Adam Barrington and his company, and then you're right, we have to do our best to support so we can continue to attract similar types, and like that ULI study, and with the different projects that are coming in, and the current hotel and condos that we have now. So it's a good feeling. Hopefully we can continue on that good vibe.
Great. And let's urge, I'm sure for years and years and years, we went over the bridge to go to Port Orange to eat. So let's ask our friends from Ponce Inlet and Port Orange to come over to take part in our restaurants. Okay, is there any audience comments this evening, Sherry?
No.
Okay.
Ms. Harrington?
Ms. Harrington? Thank you for coming up previously.
Yes. Google's a big deal, so I'd be curious to know how many other states or places are called shores. Because I know there's one in Alabama. So, thank you all for listening to me. I will make this very quick. Hello, Council and Mayor. Thank you for letting me approach the podium this July 7th, 2026. Thank you for listening to my concern this evening. This is regarding 129 Esmeralda Avenue. We have annexed into the shores in hopes that the police force will be more responsive than Volusia County at a cost of additional $1,500 per year. As said before, we moved in, and on the first day we unloaded our trailer, really excited to be here, we forgot something, so we ran to Home Depot. And 12 minutes after leaving our house, our alarm system went off with a quick response from Volusia County. Our alarm system has never gone off since then. What a scary feeling to know you were being watched. Well, since then, multiple phone calls were made to Daytona Beach Shores Police. But the most disturbing one was the one about the trailer in our backyard. I called because the scum from the hotel had thrown a lit butt into our yard during a fire hazard season. Your police force, I called them. I proceeded to tell me to shh. I did not respond to the incident because it was under investigation. The next day, in front of my house, it looks like an episode of Live Patrol outside my front window. Guns drawn, cops on the floor, criminals. During the whole investigation, the cops showed up to our house many times. But the most insulting thing we were asked is, are you renters? How horrible and rude. We listed our house for sale after this incident. It did not sell, and we pulled it off the market. So here we are, stuck and surrounded by crime, people sleeping in their cars, meth distribution outside my front door. Now for the icing on the cake, and feel free to view the footage. We were pulled over driving in our golf cart. The cop who knows me as a passenger of the golf cart asked me for my driver's license in response. This is a joke. You know where I live. He proceeded to state, if you ever have a problem, please feel free to call us. My reply is, looking right into his camera, it's really hard to call you when I've been shushed. Needless to say, he let us go. Drive by the house tonight, another homeless car parked in the front of the apartments, all a result of not receiving protection. We sold our house for a tremendous loss and have exited the community forever. Thank you.
Thank you for coming up this evening. Sherry, is there any other speakers? Okay, do we have any other items right now recommended for the next agenda? I know we have a full agenda with the budget workshop and.
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
I'm sorry, but I have to set the record straight, and I know we don't generally address these things. But I was the public safety director when Ms. Harrington and her partner started calling us. I can tell you that within a matter of days, we had arrested a maintenance businessman from the hotel. We had recovered a stolen trailer. She referred to the trailer. We had shut down the hotel through the business department, and then arrested the manager of the hotel. So I would have to say, I think you're probably not going to get that type of response from most agencies in the area. And they did have a concern that somebody had thrown a cigarette butt into their backyard, and that was what they seemed to be the most upset about. That obviously there's nothing we could have done about that. So I just, for the record, I just want to clear that up.
Thank you.
I don't want our residents to think that that's the level of service that we provide, because it's not.
Okay, thank you for that explanation. Okay, if there's no other items that we're going to add to the agenda, thank you very, very much for coming. I wish Mr. and Mrs. Miller would have been able to stay. If you talk to them, tell them we're very excited to have them here in the Shores.